It is Tuesday, April 1st. It is April Fool's Day, but we have no pranks here on this show today. This is a very serious super show that we have on Fightful Overbooked. It is in the weeds. I'm Jeremy Lambert. That is SP3, fresh off multiple trips to the O2 Arena over the past couple of days. SP3, how you feeling?
I am doing well, ladies and gentlemen. It's a Tuesday. I am back with you all after being buried and cooked at the old two. The level of mediocrity around me was astounding, so I'm not surprised that John Cena also buried them as well because he is talent. We are going to talk about my live experience at WWE Raw and everything that went down on a much better show than the one I went to on Friday, I will say. We're going to talk about that and a little bit more around the wrestling world, whatever we decide to talk about. And apparently, I'll be sharing with you all my top 10 worst WrestleMania matches that were included on TLC over on Wrestle Talk. I think it's got like 50,000 views so far. But if you haven't watched it, go ahead and watch that too. When we're done, of course. Not at the same time.
Wait till we're done first. I like that name, by the way. Shout out to whoever came up with the TLC, the tables, lists, and chairs. That's pretty good. Got to give him credit for that.
I do like.
I'll credit Tempest. I'll just credit him. I don't know if it's actually him, but I'll give him credit.
I think it was Pete, but Tempest's been on there plenty of times. He could take credit. He could take credit too. I love Tempest. Shout out. I don't love you, sir.
I don't know Pete as well, so I'm not going to give him any credit. We'll bury Pete instead. We'll get heat with
no.
Pete.
No, I love Pete. I love Luke. I love everybody at Wrestle Talk. They're great people. I didn't get to see them. They were bougie. They were bougie last night. You heard them and Alex McCarthy in their sky boxes. I was just hanging out in the Judgment Day clubhouse and stuff. They were in sky boxes by Netflix and whatnot. But yeah.
Yeah, speaking of Alex McCarthy, that coward out here. I said yesterday, I was like, oh, I'm gonna invite McCarthy on the show. I know he was at both of the shows. It's been a while since we've had McCarthy on, so we'll invite him on Tuesday's episode. What does he do? He said he's going on vacation. What
holiday? They call it holiday out here. Holiday.
Well, that's the first dumb thing is they call it holiday, but. He's going on vacation. Vacations aren't allowed. It's WrestleMania season. What do you mean vacation? Coward.
Well, he's gonna have a ridiculously busy month because he's going on holiday on the 1st. Then he's gonna turn around once he comes back from holiday, and it's gonna be WrestleMania. He's going out to Vegas for Mania week. So he's on the grind. He's on the grind. Don't worry.
I don't believe he's ever on the grind. I believe he's being a coward right now. He's certainly being a coward not appearing on this show here today. So, and until he appears, I'm going to call him a coward.
No, of course you would call him that even if he was here.
True. That's very fair. Yeah, running from the grind, Jay Grell says. That's very true. Alex McCarthy is running from the grind. Guys, if you're here, you can leave a thumbs up on the video. Let's catch the WrestleMania sign on fire. Let's see if we can do it. I got a smile, apparently. I'm trying to do this. Can you just do the firework? There we go. Okay. And then we point to the sign that's on fire. Leave a thumbs up on the video. That helps us out. Subscribe to the channel. That helps us out. Leave a super chat. Get your question, comment, statement read on the air. That helps us out as well. A lot of ways to support us and support the channel. Go check out all the shorts that I've been doing as well. That's appreciated. I've done one short every single day, SP3. I've managed to pull it off through 3 months. We are a quarter of the way through the year, and I've managed to do one short every day. I'm only saying that to Barry Horowitz myself because, it's some work to be done because I don't do enough work. So to be able to do this is I'm proud of myself, so we're going to Barry Horowitz ourselves. Always praise yourself, everybody. Let's start with the list. You know what? I forget that. Forget that. Forget wrestling.
He's like, forget all that. Forget all that. We need to talk about something else.
Forget wrestling. Congratulations to your Los Angeles Lakers on a good victory against the Houston Rockets last night.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I know they had a couple tough games there for a little while, but over the Rockets. Rockets, the 2 seed in the West, and I don't know if we'll see them in the playoffs. I don't know if we'll see the Lakers in the playoffs, but it's a good win for the Lakers.
I want to say again, congratulations to your Oklahoma City Thunder. They're a 60-win team, and they could go down as one of the most wins in that NBA season. Might make the top 5, top 10 most wins for an NBA season. If I think the only thing that's gonna stop y'all is the back-to-back games against us. I don't know if y'all could beat us back-to-back. I think we're not gonna be able to steal one, but y'all could win 70. Y'all could win 70. There's 7 games left, and y'all need 7 wins.
Yeah, we have to win out to win 70. I don't think it's gonna happen. We're not gonna play our top people against you guys. I hope, like, the goal right now is to not win 70 games. The goal is to be healthy in the playoffs. And like, Mark Daniel's a pretty smart coach. Your own head coach, your own star player said the same thing on their podcast before, they became a head coach. They praise Mark Daniel for how smart he is. He knows that the Lakers are a potential playoff matchup. He isn't going to go out there and be like, hey, let's go with our full force and let's show them everything we got in this, what is effectively a meaningless regular season game for OKC.
It's not meaningless for us. We want to get up to second or third seed so we don't have to see y'all in the second round.
Yeah, it's not meaningless for the Lakers. It's fully meaningless for OKC because they've clinched the West. They clinched the West a week ago. They're 3 games up for home court in the finals. So that's not super apparent right now. And knowing it's a potential playoff matchup, why are you going to play? Why are you going to show anything in a meaningless regular season game? You're going to get 1 game where Shea and Hartenstein sit, and you're going to get 1 game where Chet and Dub sit. And then some reserves might sit on those games as well. You're not getting the full lineup for either of those games.
And we'll probably still lose one of them because that's what we've been doing, folks. But I'm just hoping we could get a 50-win season. That's more than I projected for them at the start of the season. And if we can get up to the 2nd or 3rd seed, and I am prefacing this, I want us to get up to the 2nd and 3rd seed, and I also want the Warriors to get up to the 5th or the 4th seed so we don't have to face the Warriors in the first round. I think that our sweet spot is facing one of the bottom teams, not named the Warriors or the Grizzlies, in the first round. Right now we're in the 4th seed. We would face the Grizzlies, but even facing the Grizzlies in the first round, that's a tough matchup, and then we would have to face y'all in the 2nd round. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't like any of those propositions. I'd rather face the Grizzlies, but in the first round, but I don't want to face y'all in the 2nd round. I'd rather face y'all in the conference finals.
What do you mean you don't want to face us in the 2nd round? I thought it was OKC, KFC, UFC, BBC, ABC, Lakers in 5.
Lakers in 5. Lakers in 5. Oklahoma City Thunder, have your bunda. Talking to Dusty Rhodes, and all he's saying is plunder. Lakers in 5.
This is all I heard is Lakers in 5.
It's gonna be Lakers in 5. Lakers in 5 regardless. But I'd rather pace ourselves. I rather us meet in the later rounds in the conference finals, because then that's better viewing experience for everyone watching. It could get a little bit dicey. They can see the ups and downs. We're here every Tuesday and Thursday together. They can see all that ups and downs together. If it's in the conference finals, in the semifinals, I mean, then one of us can go to the conference final and possibly lose. I'd rather it be an in the weeds battle in the conference final, and then the winner goes to the NBA finals, reaches the upper room, the upper echelon, facing the Boston Celtics or the Cleveland Cavaliers in the finals.
Okay. Yes, Cam. British Broadcasting Corporation. Where are you thinking here, Cam?
Yes. It's a great television out here in the UK. I watched the ending of Traders 3 on BBC.
There you go. Cam questioning why I would say BBC. It's a British Broadcasting Corporation. That's why I said ABC as well. We're talking about networks here.
You know, when me and Sat used to do the podcast together, we called it BBC, Big Black Content. Big Black Content. That's what we were all about. Big Black Content.
The legend Sat. I hope he's doing well. I see him on Twitter all the time, but I never talk to him. Love Sat though. All right, let's get into these WrestleMania lists. Fair, honestly, fair. Down with Britain. Fair.
I'm offended. You're talking about my home right now.
You with your Lindsay Lohan fake accent for a month out of the year. It's way longer than a month. You're literally there for like half the year nowadays.
This is my home away from home. This is
okay.
You know, it's less expensive than NYC. There's another C for you. NYC.
Yeah. All right, so you created a list of top 10 worst WrestleMania matches, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So the reason this comes up is yesterday, Jill and I were having a conversation about the WWE's list that they're putting out with the 50 greatest WrestleMania matches, and we were talking about it. And somebody asked, like, what are some like of the worst WrestleMania matches? And I clarified the worst WrestleMania matches are probably ones that like I really enjoy, because if they're that bad, I'm probably going to like them. The worst ones in my mind is something like Reigns and Triple H, which was 40 minutes at the end of a 5-hour show. And it wasn't even like a fun 40 minutes. There was no like wackiness to it. They were just trying to have like this epic match, and it just didn't fit the bill at all. So that to me qualifies as like the worst. But I'm sure other people are like, oh, The Undertaker and Giant Gonzalez was technically a terrible match. Like, yeah, sure, technically, if you're going to break it down like that. But like when I look at it and I see this giant man in a flesh suit with hair against The Undertaker doing some awful wrestling, this rules to me. I think that's great. When you say Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler, Michael Cole just wrestling.
That is winning. Long. That's like 18 minutes long. It's awful.
But Michael Cole wrestling and winning and being undefeated at WrestleMania is funny to me. It's very funny to me. So I don't think that's one of the worst matches. It's 13 minutes, by the way.
It felt like 80 minutes. I was being fair. I was being relatively fair by saying 18. It felt like 80.
Okay, so I'm not gonna give you my worst, because I can't do a top 10 of worst. If something comes to mind like Triple H and Roman Reigns, I'll throw it out there. But what was your list, SB3?
Okay, I'll start from number 10 here. Okay. I'm just looking back. I have the video on my phone right now. So number 10, I had Jimmy versus Jay from last year's WrestleMania. I know you said that it was funny, but it's probably one of my most disappointing WrestleMania matches ever, because it was wrong from the start. Like it's because the reason why I think it made my list is because the whole storyline is botched from the very beginning. It made no sense for Jimmy to turn on Jay after he was the one who turned on Roman and convinced Jay to turn against Roman, only for a month later to say, you know what? No, Roman has to keep the Ulafala. Roman has to be the tribal chief. I can't allow my little brother to win the Ulafala. They did no setup, no foreshadowing. They just did it out of nowhere to swerve people. And I feel like that's the worst trait of Triple H as a booker, is when he tries to swerve the crowd with certain stuff. We've seen it this year for WrestleMania, for the WrestleMania 41 build. We've seen it with that instance where Jimmy turned on Jay, and I said it was wrong from the start because you literally have them turn on him, and then you do this 6 months where they don't interact with one another, only besides Jimmy screwing them out of the tag team titles. Jimmy gets no singles victories, let alone he didn't even get tag team victories in the 6 months that they were separated, and then just decided to put them back together in January where Jimmy screws him over for the Intercontinental Championship. And then it's just the worst of the bloodline for what was, I think that was like 14 minutes or 12-minute matchup. It's the worst of the bloodline. It's pantomiming. You get the fake swerve where he's like, "Oh, I'm your brother, shake my hand," and then you get the funniest part is Jimmy yelling at his daughter. You said, "Pay attention to your daddy." That part is funny, but other than that, it's just super kicks and pantomiming.
Okay, I don't disagree. I just found it hilarious. I was like, this match isn't good, but to me, it was good in a funny way. It's like, oh, let's throw another super kick. And yeah, Jimmy yelling at his kid, like, watch the match. It's like, well, why would she? Like, the match isn't very good, dude. But that's what made it funny to me.
I got better things to do, Dad. I'm on my phone right now.
Yeah.
Telling my friends my dad sucks. And I agree with Greg Carter. They had one of the biggest hip hop stars of all time, Lil Wayne, and he was awful in the entrance.
Oh yeah, that was honestly the worst part about the match. Is Lil Wayne comes out there, he's trying to do a milli, and I'm like, does he know the lyrics? Does he remember what's going on? That's what made the Super Bowl discourse so funny. It's like, should have been Lil Wayne. I'm like, I don't know, dude. The last time I saw Lil Wayne perform on a big stage, it was not very good. I imagine he'll be a little bit better at the Super Bowl, but I don't exactly have high hopes considering the last time I saw him go out there and perform. So, nah. All right, I get why that's on your list at number 10. I disagree because I think it's funny. What's number 9?
Number 9 is the aforementioned The Undertaker versus Giant Gonzalez. I think that it's objectively the worst Undertaker match at WrestleMania. Even worse than Shane McMahon and him in Hell in a Cell. Even worse than him and Roman. It's him and Giant Gonzalez, because WWE was in love with these monster heels facing the Undertaker in the early 90s for some reason. Ever since Undertaker turned babyface ahead of WrestleMania 8, and he had a kind of shrug type of matchup with Jake Roberts at WrestleMania 8. It was fine for what it was, but after that, when he was babyface after that, they just kept running Giants versus the Undertaker, and they were never good. They were never entertaining. They literally use it as an example of why they hired Mankind on the Dark Side of the Ring episode that was the debut of the Mick Foley Hell in a Cell, talking about that Hell in a Cell matchup. They showed Giant Gonzalez and The Undertaker. That is the example of awful Giant facing The Undertaker. It's Giant Gonzalez. It ends in a DQ. So we don't even get the blow off for this rivalry that started in the Royal Rumble. We have to wait 4 more months until SummerSlam, where they face again. And I think again it's a non-finish as well. So yeah, it's on a bad WrestleMania. It's a bad match. I know you find it funny because he's in a bodysuit with hair on it, which is one of the worst costumes in pro wrestling history. But it's plotting. It's slow. It's not entertaining. It's not good wrestling. And I know sometimes bad wrestling is funny. And I can appreciate bad wrestling being funny. This is not funny. If you rewatch it, it's not funny.
I rewatched it. It's been a couple years. It's not good. I'm not gonna pretend like it's good, but it's still funny to me. To me, it's funny because Giant Gonzalez can't do anything. He does like two things the whole match. He does like a punch and he does like the little claw or head smash thing. That's like it. It's funny to me. It's not the worst Undertaker WrestleMania match, by the way.
What's the worst?
The second Triple H match.
You're ridiculous.
I think that match is awful.
You know what is funny though? Luke Owen, because we did best WrestleMania matches list, and then we did the worst WrestleMania matches list. And Luke Owen didn't have Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, but he had Undertaker versus Triple H 2 at WrestleMania 27 in his number 3 spot. Didn't have Undertaker and Shawn Michaels in the entire top 10, but had that match at number 3.
That match isn't good. I don't
like
that
it
match at all.
I do like it. I have fond memories of that match, but I think the most one of the most overrated matches in WrestleMania history is the Hell in a Cell between Undertaker and Triple H.
See, I don't mind the Hell in a Cell match because it's essentially a triple threat match because Shawn Michaels is so involved. So Shawn Michaels carries it. Their second match. That's another one of those just like long matches that wants to be an epic that I just can't buy into. I'm not a fan of it. All right, what's next on your list?
So number 8 on my list, and this one doesn't get mentioned enough how bad it was. Roddy Piper versus Mr. T from WrestleMania 2, the boxing match.
Oh.
It has the longest build of anything on the WrestleMania 2 card, and it's the most hype matchup because it stems from the road to the first WrestleMania when they were in the main event, and then they did this big showdown. They're going to go one-on-one, and it's a boxing match, and Mr. T has a background in boxing, and he is an awful boxer. And Roddy Piper, who's a great professional wrestler and has his history of being a bare knuckle fighter and stuff like that, he's not that good either. It's just awful. I don't like when wrestling shows do boxing matches. I think the only one that was entertaining is Butterbean versus Bart Gunn, or Bart Gunn.
Yeah, because that was a real fucking boxing match.
Exactly.
That wasn't a fake boxing match.
Exactly. This is a fake boxing match. I prefer when they do a real boxing match. If it's a fake boxing match, no, throw it away. It's not good. That's why no one goes back and watch WrestleMania 2, because the only matches worth a damn to watch would be Roddy Piper versus Mr. T and Hulk Hogan versus King Kong Bundy. So I had to include one of those matches on my list, and rewatching it, Roddy Piper and Mr. T is objectively worse than Hogan versus King Kong Bundy inside of a steel cage. All
right. That's another funny match because they're just trying to do terrible boxing, and it's funny to me. Like, I'm with you a lot of times, like, especially when WWE does it, but because they do it most often. Like, when they try to have these wrestlers, like, oh, let's do fake boxing, let's do fake MMA. Like, it looks fake for a reason. And so it just doesn't come off very good. And that's what this was. But that's funny to me when they try to do fake boxing and fake MMA because it's so bad. It's like nobody throws a punch like that. What are you doing?
It's so bad. And it doesn't even have a finish, Jeremy. It doesn't even have a finish because Piper just body slams him, and the match is a DQ. It's a DQ finish. That's like literally the Taker, Gonzalez, and Piper and Mr. T. Reason why I paired them up one after the other, because both of them are non-finish at WrestleMania. DQ finishes for 2 of your top matches. It's ridiculous. Number 7, another match that would have ended in a DQ or a no contest or a double count out. I think, it was a double count out. Would have ended in a double count out if it wasn't for the anonymous general manager and The Rock. It is John Cena versus The Miz from WrestleMania 27. This is up there as one of the worst WrestleMania main events of all time. It basically the build is not about Cena or Miz. Then you have a matchup that literally was a passable 9-minute match at the Bash 2009. Then 2 years later, you try to pull that as the WrestleMania main event, and the crowd is kind of dead for it because it's at the end of a 4-hour show. Everybody's basically sitting on their hands waiting for The Rock to come out. He doesn't come out until after the double count out finish, where Miz is concussed. Miz does not remember anything from this matchup because he gets his head plonked on the concrete and he's out of it for the latter half. So you just wait for The Rock to show up. He finally shows up after the anonymous general manager wants to call things, and he says, "No, you're all shut your mouth," all that nonsense. And then he hits the rock bottom on Cena, and the Miz wins. It's an awful WrestleMania main event.
This one I will agree with. It's a little passable because Miz is concussed, and so I feel bad that he can't like do a whole lot in the match, and I don't knock it quite as much knowing the circumstances around it. But yeah, certainly watching it live and not knowing that all the behind the scenes aspect of it, I was like, oh yeah, this ain't a WrestleMania main event at all. It peaks with the "Hate Me Now" intro.
Thank you.
Like,
the best part of it is before the bell rings and the "Hate Me Now" video package, which I recently rewatched because I think it was WWE The Vault. They released the best WrestleMania hype packages, and that was on it. And I was like, yeah, that was the best part of that main event. Best part of that main event.
Yeah. All right, this one I'm in agreement that it's not a good match, and there's no funniness to it. There's no redeeming like humor for it. No. Yeah. All right, what's next?
All right, so now I have one that I'm sure you're going to say, no, that was funny, because it is the essence of who this person is. But it's Terrence from Florida versus Yokozuna from WrestleMania 9.
Oh, this match is like 2 seconds long. How is this?
It's awful. It's the worst of Hulk Hogan. It's the worst of Hulk Hogan, where he's Hulk humble. He's like, no, I can't go in there and beat the champion. I need Bret Hart, who just lost and got screwed over out of the WWE Championship. I need him to go in there and go after him. I need the heels to talk him into taking the matchup, because Yokozuna has dumb heel syndrome, not dumb babyface syndrome. I'm used to dumb babyface syndrome. That happens all the time in pro wrestling. But dumb heel syndrome. You just won the WWF Championship. You're challenging Hulk Hogan, who wasn't here for like a year. He shows up with his black eye after the jet ski accident. He has a mid-level tag team title match that also doesn't have a finish on that matchup. Then he shows up at the end to try to make the save, try to check on Hulk Hogan, where they have no prior established relationship. Not like if this is Macho Man Randy Savage or anybody like that. It's Bret Hart. Bret Hart's reign wasn't the greatest, his first reign as WWF champion, but my God, why did we need Hulk Hogan? And I love when you go back and you listen, if you've ever heard Something to Wrestle With, and you listen to Bruce Pritchard, and his excuse for this is, we needed Hogan for the European tour that summer, so that's why he won the championship. And Conrad Thompson has to remind him, Hogan's gone before the European tour happens, and they just sold out Wembley Stadium in 1992 without Hulk Hogan. You freaking idiot! Bret Hart is the draw for Europe. What are you doing? It's so stupid. It makes no sense. It's just WWE and Vince McMahon jerking off Hulk Hogan's inflated ego. That's all it is. It's the worst 20-second matchup that I've ever seen. I get so upset thinking about it.
I thought it was funny. It's hilarious that Bret gets screwed out of the title like this, and Hulk has to be the justice to come out. Not Sid Justice, sadly. He has to be the beacon of truth to come out and stand up, and instead of like getting the match restarted or neutralizing Mr. Fuji or something. Bret's just like, you go do it, Hulk. You go get him.
You go get him, big brother.
It's hilarious.
I don't know if it was a jet ski accident, motorcycle accident. He had a black eye. I know there's stories that it was Macho Man that punched him out because he was trying to flirt with Miss Elizabeth and stuff like that. Yeah.
So there's apparently, I think WrestleVotes had this. There's apparently a WrestleMania 9 documentary like coming out at some point because they filmed a bunch of stuff, but they never aired it because of the backstage stuff with Hogan, of the fact that they turned Luger babyface right after this, and like he was a heel the whole time going into this, and so they didn't want to like confuse the audience. But like they filmed stuff all day for this, and they just never aired it. And the fact that the event just sucked, so that probably didn't want them to be like, hey, let's put on this show. Let's just show documentary behind the scenes of this show. It's like, yeah, nobody wants to see that. But now, you know, all these years later, everyone's like, yeah, let's see what a disaster this shit was. It's probably great. So hopefully that comes out soon. I'm actually looking forward to that more than
he's like, I'm pumped for that.
Yeah. Let's get Brett. I hope they get like candid comments from Brett afterwards. That would be great. I don't even want candid comments from Brett like right after the match. I want comments from Brett now as well. Like they cut to Bret Hart in 2025 being asked about this. It's like, yeah, Hogan's a piece of shit. Like, cut to Hogan.
You're right, sir.
Hopefully that comes out. I look forward to it. All right, what's next?
All right, so number 5 is another match that was aforementioned that you did agree is awful, and that's why it's in the top 5. Roman Reigns versus Triple H from WrestleMania 32.
What's number 1 if this isn't number 1? That's what I want to know. All right. I've said my piece on this. I think this match is legitimately bad, and there's no humor or redeeming like twisted positive I can find from it.
It's a match featuring a babyface that the crowd didn't accept. It's Triple H out of his prime, still trying to be Harley Race and trying to have a long NWA epic in the main event of WrestleMania with a guy who's not ready to have a long epic. And you've never been good at long epics. I don't think there's anyone who has more disappointing or lackluster or just straight up bad WrestleMania main events more than Triple H. Triple H has a litany of WrestleMania main events that probably shouldn't have main evented. And this surprisingly tops the list over his matches with Orton and Chris Jericho.
Yeah, Jay Girls is right. The only kind of redeeming thing is the Stephanie took a cool looking table spot. That's about it.
Yeah, there's 2 good spots. It's the spear through the barricade and then the spear on Stephanie. That's it. And then you have to go through like 27 minutes of everything else.
The spear through the barricade has been done so often now that it's like, who cares? I hate that spot. It's legitimately one of my like pet peeves in wrestling. Like, can we just not do this spot? It sucks. All right. Yeah. Number 4.
Number 4 is, I know, a matchup that you're going to say, oh, no, I thought it was funny. Number 4 is Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt from WrestleMania 33. Oh. Yes, yeah. Maggot on the mat. Because I was there live for that, folks. I was there live in the building for that show. And oh my God, I've never seen a crowd of that many people so confused on what we were watching. It's a mid matchup that is just, it doesn't even have a good flow to it. It's just a couple of moves, then maggots appear on the mat. Then they do a couple of more moves. The maggots appear on the mat again, and then the finish just comes. It doesn't even build or anything. It's just so bad. It completely put to bed any imaginations that WWE was ever going to do anything with Bray Wyatt. But I do have mixed emotions with the matchup because I went to WrestleMania 33 with probably like a group of 10, 11 of my friends, and we were staying in a house all together the night before, and we did predictions. This is before I even started doing podcasts, and we did predictions. We went all around, and everybody in the house was like, yeah, Bray's gonna win, Bray's gonna win, Bray should win, Bray should win. And I was like, this is WWE. It was like, Randy Orton's going to win. So I was the only person who said Randy Orton was going to win. So when he does win, I did pop. I will say I did pop because I was right. I was right because I know WWE better than my friends.
Counterpoint to this match being bad, SP3. Are you ready for this?
I hate you so much.
This rules. Look at that.
It's so bad. It's so bad. Like I had the choice of this or the Randy Orton versus Fiend matchup, and I was like, no, this
that
one
match
is
is
worse.
Funny too.
This one is worse for me. I can find some humor in Bray Wyatt getting distracted by Alexa Bliss having goo oozed out of her head. That's funny. That's funny. There's nothing funny about this. It's just maggots. It's like, why? There's been nothing about this storyline. It's been about maggots. What are you talking? Oh, the maggots that ate at the remains of Sister Abigail's house after he burned it down. Yo, like Randy Orton cucked Randy Orton cucked Bray Wyatt so many times in their two feuds that they had. He manipulated his way into the Wyatt family, making Bray basically kick Luke Harper to the curb. Then he burns down Sister Abigail's house, his childhood home. Then he beats him like that at WrestleMania 33. Then they turn around and do the rivalry 3 years later, and he burns him alive. The only time that Bray Wyatt got the upper hand on Randy Orton in either one of their feuds, it was to put Alexa Bliss over Randy Orton.
Orton's is generational in the entire Bray Wyatt saga from start to finish, from the Fiend stuff all the way back to becoming friends with Bray. Just generational stuff from Randy Orton.
And remember, before he was Bray Wyatt, he kicked him, he punted him in the head and sent him back to FCW. Oh my God, he's been cucking. He was cucking freaking Bray Wyatt when he was Husky Harris. 2011 through 2021. That's 10 years. 10 years of cucking Bray Wyatt.
What's number 3?
Number 3 is probably another one that Jeremy's going to be like, I thought it was funny. Number 3 is Vince McMahon versus Pat McAfee from WrestleMania 38.
Okay, this one is not good, and it's just dumb, and it's pointless, but Vince trying to take that stunner is hilarious.
I mean, that's after the matchup. I'm talking bell to bell. It didn't need to happen. Like,
it didn't need to happen.
Pat McAfee comes out to the huge pop. He comes out to the big pop during his entrance. He has a solid celebrity guest appearance matchup with Austin Theory that was entertaining from bell to bell. He gets the victory. The fans are happy. And, Vince is sitting at ringside. And he's, you know what? I'm going to verse him. At 76 years old, this old, miserable piece of trash gets into the ring and he squashes McAfee. He doesn't get one move off on 76-year-old Vince McMahon. Pat McAfee is completely fine after defeating Austin Theory. It's not like they did an injury spot. I think Theory attacks Pat McAfee before Vince gets into the ring. But that, oh my God, he completely buries Pat McAfee, kicks him in with the football in the balls, and picks up the victory. Awful. sucks.
Vince throws these awful looking punches. It's an awful match, but like there's some humor to it. It's just funny how bad it is. It's so bad, but it's hilarious that Vince is attempting to do any of this. And yeah, he took such a god awful stunner. Austin cracking up afterwards, like, fuck, what do you want me to do, guys?
Oh man. Yeah, it is an all-time horror. And it comes after one of the best stunner cells ever. From Austin Theory, but nobody remembers that. Most people remember the awful stunner that Vince did.
No one remembers a lot from Austin Theory. So, all right.
Also true. Austin has delivered 2 of his worst stunners to people with the last name McMahon, Linda and Vince.
Yeah. What's number 2, SP3?
Number 2, name's gonna sound familiar again. Vince McMahon versus Bret the Hitman Hart from WrestleMania 26. That is awful, Jeremy. It's too long, first of all. Second of all, it's like the weirdest family reunion you've ever been to. It's the weirdest family reunion where a man in near 70 years old is the piñata for a family reunion, and they just beat the crap out of him. Bret does what, 1 or 2 moves, sells for Vince a little bit, then locks on the sharpshooter. Oh man, it needed to be like 5 minutes. It was 5 minutes of them just beating the crap out of Vince. I think I would be okay with it. If it was 5 minutes, get the job done. All we wanted to see from that matchup is Bret get his revenge on Vince. But it's way too long. It goes way too long. And yeah, it's just really bad. It's Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon, outside of the Shawn Michaels matchup and the Shane matchup, he has some horrible WrestleMania matches. It's not ever good.
Wow. So the match is only 11 minutes. It feels a lot longer. It definitely
feels a lot longer.
Yeah,
it feels a lot. That's double the amount that I would have gave it. I said it would have been perfect at 5 minutes.
Yeah. It feels a lot longer than 11. The chair spot pops me though, because like he does it and it's cool, and then it continues. It's like, oh, this is all he's doing. But then he goes on so long that it comes back around to being funny again. To me, it's like, okay, once you get to like 20 of these fucking things, it becomes funny again. It's like, oh, 5, like, aha, okay, cool. And then like between 10 and 15, like, oh, this is a little long. But then once you get to that 20 spot, it's like, okay, you know what? It just keeps going. It's a Family Guy bit at that point. It's like, it just keeps going and going. It's like, yeah, it's funny again. I don't mind it. I think it's a funny match.
Sucks. It sucks.
All right, what is number 1? Because you've listed some fantastic matches. So what is number 1?
I hate you so much. My number 1 is the aforementioned Jerry the King Lawler versus Michael Cole. It's like, oh my God, I had to deal with the awful commentary of Michael Cole for 2 years. For 2 freaking years, him being this awful, obnoxious heel character. And it's supposed to be, the payoff is Jerry the King Lawler gets his 1 WrestleMania matchup, and he'll get to go out on top, beat the annoying announcer, get the payoff for somebody that the fans want to beat up. And it just goes extremely longer than it needed to be. This is another. Both of my top 2 are matches that should have been 5 minutes, but the Vince match is 11 minutes. This match is nearly 14, but that's not even counting all the pre and post match stuff. So in totality, it's like a 25-minute segment of the goddamn show. WrestleMania 27 is propped up by that Undertaker and Triple H matchup, because it has the Miz and Cena in the main event. You have this SmackDown in the middle of the show. It's just so bad. It's so awful. It's just, it's slow. It's plotting. It's Jerry the King Lawler, who I don't like that much for reasons outside outside of wrestling, and it's Michael Cole in a singlet getting his brains beaten for half of the time. He's getting smashed, his face pinned up into the coal mine and stuff like that. He's hiding out in the coal mine. Jerry King Lawler has to sell for him. And then you don't even end the matchup on the crescendo at the peak when the fans are into it. When Jerry King Lawler has him in the ankle lock, you got Austin as a special guest referee. I can't hear him. Do you quit? And he's like, yeah, I quit. He's tapping. He's like, Jerry, I can't hear him. Is he quitting? I can't hear him. Do you quit? Do you quit? And then eventually he says, okay, and rings the bell. So it doesn't even end at the crescendo of the matchup. And then they top it off by having the anonymous general manager come in and say, oh, no, actually, Michael Cole is the winner. Oh, it's just so bad. It's everything that I hate about 2011 WWE in one matchup. That is why it's number one.
Okay, but it's funny.
It's not funny, Jeremy. It's not funny. It's not funny. I see people mention matches like Sheamus and Danny O'Brien. That turned back on WWE. I think Luke Owen did have Sheamus versus Danny O'Brien on his list, but that turned back on WWE, and it did make the fans basically rebuke that and rally even more behind Bryan Danielson. So I think that's why it didn't make the cut for my top 10. If I made it maybe a top 15, top 20, that would probably make the list. Brock versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania 34. It's Triple H and Roman Reigns is objectively worse than that. So I think I do outside of like Vince being on this list twice, I do try to like have some variations of different stuff. Brock and Roman at least had some blood, and in that one I do think is so bad it is funny at how many times Roman kicks out of the F5. That became the most hilarious part of it when I watched it back. I did have it on my short list before I made my top 10, and I watched it back and I was like, no, there is a point where it goes a little bit long and he kicks out of like the fourth F5 and fifth F5 where I just start laughing. Like, this is ridiculous. He's bloody. He's dead. How is he kicking out of this stuff? So that's why I didn't make my cut.
Sheamus and Bryan is literally like 18 seconds. It's not like a bad match or anything. It's just it's disappointing if you were hoping for a nice 15-minute Sheamus and Bryan match, but you can't say an 18-second match is like bad. They hit the one move they were supposed to hit. So I don't see how that one is there. No, mine are still.
I already have my one short match on the list, which is Terrence from Florida versus Yokozuna. So
I would still say Undertaker and Triple H 2 is there. I don't care about that
ridiculous. That's objectively a good match.
That match is not. What do you mean objectively?
It's objectively a good match.
No,
it's just carnage. It's carnage, and it has one of my favorite near falls of all time. The tombstone by Triple H. I remember I was in my apartment watching with a few of my friends, and when Triple H hits that tombstone, we were all convinced the streak was over. We were probably more convinced even than the super kick into the pedigree the following year in Hell in a Cell.
Nah, I didn't care for it. I'm not going to go back and rewatch it either, but I didn't care for it. Undertaker and Roman Reigns is like, people might name that one again, hilarious match. Undertaker trying to stumble his way through that whole thing. Oh, that's funny to me.
I hate that matchup, but it didn't make my top 10. But I do hate that matchup because, man, there were people in that crowd that were crying because they were like, this is the last time we're going to see the Undertaker. And I went to WrestleMania 33, and then I went to WrestleMania 34. And I knew the Undertaker was coming out for that Cena matchup. Soon as the gong went off, I ran to the concessions and I started complaining to the bartender. I was like, "Do you believe this shit? This guy is back 1 year after he was supposed to retire. He left his boots and his hat and his jacket in the ring. He had people crying just for him to come back the next year."
Undertaker and Cena was so short. Like, I can't call that. That's another one that, like, I can't call that
It's
match
a 5-minute match.
Yeah,
it's just a 5-minute match. Who cares? It's Undertaker inflating his ego once again when WWE should have done Cena and Undertaker at WrestleMania 30.
Undertaker and Roman's a funny match, though. It's like the Undertaker's matches in Saudi. You know, that tag team match is awful. And I know Shawn Michaels pretends that it doesn't exist, but like, it's a hilarious match.
It is funny. That one is funny.
They're just falling all over the place. Kane's mask comes off.
Falls off.
And everything. Like, and Undertaker
Triple
Goldberg
H gets injured. Triple H gets injured in the matchup. Oh, man.
Undertaker Goldberg is one of the funniest matches ever, too. Like, it's so terrible. They're just stumbling all over the place. Dude, old dudes doing bad wrestling rules. Absolutely rules.
Ones that Luke and Sullivan put on their list that I wish that I would have considered for my top 10. I think I said it in the chat yesterday, but Luke had Edge versus Randy Orton from WrestleMania 36. That one is objectively horrible, and I probably would bump off Jay and Jimmy and put that, if I did my list over, I would have put that on my list over Jay and Jimmy, because that is objectively worse. And Sully had the WrestleMania, the Miss WrestleMania Battle Royal from WrestleMania 25, where Santina Marella wins the matchup. A man winning a women's Battle Royal, and they basically have them all come out like they're freaking an assembly line of women as Kid Rock performs. So bad. That was the state of women's wrestling in 2009.
Yeah, it wasn't. None of that was good. The Orton and Edge match is an objectively bad match.
Yeah,
that's
objectively bad.
There you go, everybody. WrestleMania list. SP3, his worst matches. A lot of them incorrect, but it's his opinion.
This guy says a good match is one of the worst matches. Undertaker, Triple H. This is a rare case.
How long is that match?
Not having a bad matchup with the Undertaker at WrestleMania. Surprisingly, with his record at WrestleMania, he did not have a bad match with the Undertaker.
How long is that match? That match has got to be.
It's almost 30 minutes. It's 30 minutes. It's like 29 and a half minutes. 29-25 is the
29-25. Oh, it feels every bit of it.
No.
Nah, that match isn't good. Sorry.
I enjoyed it.
Sorry, everybody.
I prefer that one on rewatch. I prefer that one a little bit better than the Hell in a Cell. And I loved the Hell in a Cell when I first watched it. But a lot of that is just them laying on the ground and selling as Shawn counts them out and stuff. And Triple H beating Undertaker's old ass with the chair, you know.
This match got 4.5 stars from Dave.
Yep.
That's how you know it was
well deserved.
Bad. That's how you know.
Well deserved. Well deserved. Well deserved.
I'd say I'd rewatch it, but I'm not going to.
He's like, I don't have 30 minutes for that. What are you talking about?
I watch it on 2x speed, and then maybe I'll enjoy it.
Plus, I love the how the match was made. I always will remember those the vignettes that everybody thought were Sting and then they had to change it to the Undertaker when Sting re-signed with TNA, and they became the Undertaker Returns, and then he does the whole big entrance, and then the game, the Triple H music hit, and everybody's like, "Oh shit, it's happening! Triple H is gonna hurt the Undertaker. He's gonna try to do what his best friend couldn't." And they do the no words challenge where they both look at the WrestleMania sign. Like, so many people have tried to redo that. I remember when Undertaker and Roman Reigns tried to do that before WrestleMania 33, and it sucked. It sucked.
That became Undertaker's whole feud after that. Is we're just gonna look at the Mania sign. Now every feud is just built around, let's just point to the sign and look at the sign. That's all. Everybody point. Everyone point to the sign. There we go. And that's every feud nowadays. Raw last night. SP3 was there live in London, the O2 Arena, and it kicked off how Raw has always kicked off these past 3 weeks with one John Cena. Before John Cena could say anything, Cody Rhodes interrupted him. Once again, much like the last 3 weeks, Cody Rhodes and John Cena stood in the middle of the ring. Except this time, they actually said some things. John Cena talked about how Cody is a manufactured Nepo baby who took the playbook and just did everything that he did because he was his chauffeur for so many years. Cody tried to 8-mile him to start of saying, let's talk about my neck tattoo. Let's talk about how I got booed in a company I started.
I am white. I am a fucking bum. I do live in the trailer with my moms. Wink did fuck my girl, but I'm still standing here saying fuck the free world.
They mentioned AEW. They mentioned Tony Khan indirectly. They mentioned Vince McMahon indirectly. And in the end, John Cena and Cody Rhodes went like this. And then Cena laughed, but then he did swing and then he got laid out with a crossroads. What were your thoughts on this segment, SP3?
This was the first WrestleMania level promo that has been delivered, I would say, throughout the entire build to WrestleMania 41. This felt like something you're going to remember for a very, very long time. Promo exchange, because I do think the first Cena promo in Brussels is like that, and the electric atmosphere is like a WrestleMania level type of promo. But this one delivered where he gave you the animosity, the blood feud between Cena and Cody, and the fact that Cody was able to basically throw haymakers with one of the best haymaker throwers in promo history in WWE, especially, is John Cena. John Cena coming and telling Cody to his face that he's manufactured, that he's too perfect, that he's trying to be him, and the reason why he turned on him, the reason why he did what he did at Elimination Chamber is because he is mediocre, and he said he's gonna bury him, and he says that all these fans have said for years that he buries talent. No, I'm talent. I bury mediocrity. So I don't want to see someone who is mediocre holding something meaningful. You have someone that is my chauffeur. The way he said it was just, he said it with so much vile, so much disgust. I love this. I do think that Cena is venturing into a very cartoonish heel, but he plays movie villain very well. He plays movie villain very well, especially in this promo sense. And I love Cody just taking all the barbs and throwing it back at him. I like that Cody came out and tried to be B-Rabbit in 8 Mile and tried to say everything that he thought Cena would say about the neck tattoo, about him being Stardust, about his lifts and all of that. I love that start, and I love him taking what Cena said and throwing it right back at him, saying that I got chose by the people. The person who chose you was a one man in an office that we can't even talk about anymore. That was a great line, well delivered by Cody. And then Cena turned it back on him, saying that you had to leave because you could not even wipe my ass. And there's Cody saying you got more dick in that promo than you do in your jorts. It was very, very, very vulgar, and I like all the vulgarness. I will say that. And I love Cena throwing it back at him, saying you got more feces than facts in your head, and that I built empires for billionaires, talking about his whole run in WWE, building an empire back up for WWE post the Attitude Era for Vince McMahon, whilst Cody, he takes their son's money. He takes their kids' money. That was great. That was a great AEW reference that wasn't too direct, that still got a big reaction because everyone knew what he was talking about. I thought that it was good use of the reality of stuff, of their real life stories mixed with their characters. I love that The Rock was finally brought up, with Cody saying that between the two of us, you sold out to The Rock. Even if it's a small mention, it's better than the last 2 weeks and 1000% better than the promos that they did the week prior. The week prior, we got the mission statement from Cena, but that's about it. Wasn't much of fire and vitriol from either man. This was it, where we got Cena to cut a promo on Cody, not the fans. We didn't need a third week of Cena cutting a promo on the fans and creating a rivalry with the fans instead of Cody, where Cody felt like a proxy the last 2 weeks. Now it's a rivalry, a blood feud between Cena and Cody is something that you could really sink your teeth into. And being there live, I felt privileged. I felt honored to be there live. This way might have been one of the best live promo exchanges that I've ever seen at a WWE event. And I've been to a lot of Monday Night Raws. I've been to a few SmackDowns. This was the best because the electric atmosphere with the London crowd being way behind Cody after Cena's first barbs, they were way behind Cena, and then Cody got them right back on their side. It was like ebbs and flow of the crowd being into what Cena was saying, him showing some fire, into what Cody was saying, him showing some fire back. It was just some great lines that you're going to remember when it comes a couple of weeks from now at WrestleMania, when it's the closing match on April 20th.
Here's my criticism of this segment. And you kind of touched on it, where Cena was looking a little too cartoonish. That little square off at the end, and then, I'm going to fake leave the ring and then throw a punch and get laid out with the crossroads. Didn't fully like that. Thought Cena was too much of a typical heel in that instance, where I think it would have been better if they just did the face off, and then you do the square off. Looked dumb, honestly, like Cena looked. And then if he just left the ring, I probably would have preferred that a little bit more. He just looked like your typical, dumb heel goes for the cheap shot and misses, and the babyface stands tall. I guess the way around that is, well, Cena's never been a heel. This is this stuff he knows. This is what everybody tried to do to him, so he's going to try to do it to Cody, and look what happened. It backfired on him. I guess that's the explanation. I would like to think Cena is a smarter heel than that, and he realizes, hey, maybe I shouldn't swing at the conquering babyface because I know how this ends, because I've been on the other side of that a million times in my career. That's the only thing I would have cut off. The actual promo stuff was great. Actual promo stuff was fantastic. I love the material from both men. I'm glad, like you said, The Rock got mentioned. I'm glad the Y was mentioned. It felt like some real heat going into WrestleMania and their main event match. I don't mind the AEW references. I don't mind any of that. I think I know people get, MJF is like, why do people get so up in arms about that stuff? Because that's what people are going to do. To me, no issues with the AEW references, especially the way they were delivered. Like Cena's line was really good at the end. Cody mentioning at the start, like, I got booed in the company that I created, good little lines in there. Yeah. I do when Cody's like, oh, you got handpicked by man we can't talk about. Like, doesn't everybody get handpicked though? Aren't you handpicked by Triple H? Like, you can say, oh, I'm undeniable. Look at the fans and they chose me. It's like, well, the fans chose John Cena at first too, and then the fans turned on John Cena during that whole run. And that wasn't his fault. That was because he got picked by Vince and he continued to be shoved down their throats by Vince. And it's possibly, that might happen with Cody at some point in his career where the fans might be like, all right, we're sick of this guy. We want someone else to take the title. Hell, for about 5 seconds, it nearly happened in this segment because the crowd was booing Cody after Cena's promo and they were chanting for Cena. Cody did a great job turning them back around. I'm like, oh, that's a glimpse into what could happen if he faces like an actual hot baby face, or if he wins a little too much and the fans start to get sick of him winning too much. They might turn on him a little bit. Oh, and him mentioning the Vince, like, you got chosen by him. It's like, yeah, technically everyone gets chosen by somebody. This ain't real sports. You don't just win a championship out here. You get picked by the guy in charge.
And the funny part is that Cody was chosen by Vince as well. Vince was the one that went to his house. Like he said it before. It was Vince and Bruce Pritchard who went to his house to go sign him after he was done with AEW. So Vince chose him as well. So there is some stuff that you could poke some holes into in both of their promos, but I think that's the point. And I love that they were able to go to certain points and certain subjects that we didn't expect them to go to. We didn't expect that much fire. And now it's not Cena versus the fans with Cody as a proxy, or Cena aligning with The Rock and he's a proxy for The Rock against Cody Rhodes. Now it's a student versus teacher type of storyline, with how Cena said that you just took all my secrets, all the advice that I told you, and you've used it to become this manufactured babyface that they all beloved. That you use all these tricks, all these gimmicks of all your favorite wrestlers and all your favorite TV shows, when you just come off like a 16-year-old who failed at public speaking. And then I love Cody just going back to him, being like, you're the one who hangs out with Zac Efron and acts like he's 16, talking about Ricky Sanicki. That was great references. I loved all of it. I enjoyed all of this. This is one where I have really no notes. I think this was a 5-star promo exchange.
I'm gonna poke holes more in comments made. Cody saying they've never chanted "You can't wrestle" at me. Might be technically true. I'd have to go back and watch his AEW run. I don't think he was ever chanted "You can't wrestle." But they certainly acted like Cody can't wrestle at the end of that run when he was in the ring. From booing him, from throwing the weight belt back at him, from every time he got in the ring against somebody, and they just booed him. They booed when he won. They wanted that was the knock on Cody, on top of a few things. But the real knock was like, we got Kenny Omega in the main event. We have all these top tier wrestlers. We don't want to see Cody's essentially WWE act in the AEW ring right now. And they might not have chanted "You can't wrestle" at him. I also think it's a little dumb to point that out, of like, well, the crowd chanted "You can't wrestle." It's like, okay, but he still won these matches. What does that say about everybody else? If like the crowd believes he can't wrestle and he's still winning these matches, it's just a weird thing to point out, that the crowd dislikes you so much that they're like, you can't wrestle, and yet you still beat all these people in a wrestling match.
I really felt like it was Cody just going to the most pettiest place that he knew he can get under Cena's skin, because Cena's last line got under his skin, where he said, I built empires for billionaires. All you do is steal their kids' money. so that I think that line, you could tell by Cody's reaction, facial expression after he said that line. I think that was just Cody being like, all right, I got something for you before you go. At least they never told told me I can't wrestle. Like, so I thought it was just him throwing back whatever Cena was saying at him right back at him. So like I said, I have a response for everything. I will defend this promo exchange with my heart.
It was really good. I'm not trying to downplay how great it was, because on top of the material being good and them tying up some things like the Rock involvement and the why for John Cena, like the delivery and the conviction was so good.
Yeah,
from both men, and that enhanced it overall. Like Cena being able to play this heel character and lean into, like, I'm sure he would have had similar material as a babyface, but you know how he delivers his material as a babyface. It's a little laid back, it's a little jokey type of thing. This was very straightforward and aggressive promo from John Cena. And Cody firing back with almost similar aggression, but having kind of the Cena role of being a little bit more laid back and being a little bit more jokey with things, but still having the fire in his lines, especially. And this is not a knock on Cody. This is just how he responded when he gets like breathy when he speaks. You can hear the like, and he starts speaking. Like, I think it adds to it of, oh, he's really fired up and emotional right now. But you can like hear it in his voice how it comes across.
Yeah, I honestly, I know that they have said that this is Cena's last announced appearance. I think he will probably make one more appearance on Monday Night Raw, maybe on the Go Home show.
Yeah.
But this felt like a Go Home promo exchange between them. Like, this was them saving their best for last. I think they might do some type of brawl if Cena does make a surprise appearance.
He's got to appear on the Go Home show. Because what are you doing for the next, 2 weeks, 3 weeks before Mania? Like
two more Monday Night Raw episodes.
Okay, and Cody appears on every SmackDown too. So, I haven't been a fan of his SmackDown appearances because he's just feuding with other people and doing short promos. Like, now what happens with this program if Cena is not there for these shows? Randy Orton's going to come out. Drew McIntyre is going to come out. Finn Balor is going to come out on Raw. And like, after I win the Intercontinental title, I'm going after Braun Breaker, Logan Paul. They're going to send out a bunch of random people. Like, after you get done with Cena, I'm going to be the next person in line. Like, no, I don't. The program is John Cena and Cody Rhodes. That's where the focus should be. I'm honestly fine if Cody takes this SmackDown off and takes the next Monday off. Do the video package, show everything there, and recap everything. I don't want Cody is now focused on other people, or he has to deal with other people, because I don't think that serves this program. Cena's got to be on the final Raw or the final SmackDown. At least the final SmackDown. He'd have to be in Vegas that weekend. So I would imagine he's on the final SmackDown. If Cody's on the final Raw and can deliver like one more strong promo and then set up a segment on SmackDown, then that'll be good. And then they have a segment on SmackDown. But I don't want Cody coming out here and just like doing his dumb uppercut to people in talking segments. I hate that move. It's so stupid. I don't want him doing that.
I did like the reign. I know I heard you yesterday. You said you didn't like the opening segment on SmackDown. I did like it because I thought that Randy Orton did a good job of giving praise to Cody and bigging up Cody as someone who it should be on the same level as John Cena. I wish that Randy Orton would have took a different approach with the second half of his promo instead of saying, I'm coming after 15 when I'm done. You could use that as like a final line. I thought that he should have used his rivalry with John Cena and gave Cody some advice on how to deal with Cena. Like, I dealt with a totally different John Cena. He was always Mr. Goody Two-Shoes, but I knew he had this in him. But this is my advice to you, Cody, on how to deal with him. And I think that would have been a better setup for what we saw on Monday night.
I would have much preferred that, because at least the focus is on Cody and John Cena. And yeah, you're using past Cena rivals, as you kind of should. Have a conversation with Punk. I know Punk's doing other things now, but have a backstage conversation with Punk if you need to. Have that in-ring promo with Randy Orton. Bring back Cope. Go talk to Cope. Be on the phone with Cope. And everyone, make a
AJ
reference.
Styles.
AJ Styles is good. Yeah. AJ Styles. There you go. So you can do stuff like that with Cody. But yeah, the Orton and McIntyre portion, you just took away attention from 3 matches essentially, and said, "Oh, here's stuff for after WrestleMania." Like little breadcrumbs like that are fine, because you mentioned if Orton says it. If Orton says it at the end of the promo and says, remember all this, and then remember after you're done, I'm coming after you. Okay, no problem. Yeah. But yeah, half of his promo was just talking about the after WrestleMania stuff. And then Drew comes out, and his entire promo is focused on Cody after WrestleMania. He only has the one line of Timu Undertaker, and that was the only thing with Priest. It worked a little bit for Drew because he's overlooking Priest. So I buy it a little bit more, and then Priest got his get back later in the evening anyway. So I buy it a little bit more with Drew and that portion of it. But yeah, the Orton stuff could have been done a little bit better. I want to focus on arguably one of the biggest matches in WrestleMania history. Arguably, not even arguably, like it objectively. Is. Oh yeah, arguably, I'm Cena and Cody is arguably, because you can argue a lot of stuff in WrestleMania history. The part I was going to was objectively one of the biggest turns in wrestling history. I want to focus there and everything leading into that. Couple super chats here. LB says, "Fine speech, Cena, Crossroads." And Ryan Adams makes a good point on someone else Cody can talk to about getting buried. They brought in Barrett for commentary, and Cena does the "I don't bury talent, I bury mediocrity." Must have been a rib on Barrett. Barrett had a good tweet in response to that. If you go to Wade Barrett's Twitter, he put up the meme photo of the kid. He's in class and his veins are popping out. He's sweating. Cena, by the way, his veins were outrageous in this segment. Absolutely outrageous. Those things were popping all over the place. I was like, Jesus, John.
I do like how Cena's become this whiny, complaining heel. It works for him for some reason. He does venture into maybe too much cartoonish heel, but I like the movie villain feel of his character right now, and he's obsessed with screwing over the fans, screwing over Cody, and he feels like Cody is a proxy for the fans because he feels like he is a fan. He could buy the toy belt and he could become their fake champion because the last real champion is leaving with the gold. But I will say, I was talking to people in the crowd, and a lot of people believe that promos like that and Cena saying he's going to take the title and leave, they think that Cody is going to retain at WrestleMania, which I think it's a mistake. I think that would be a huge mistake, and it does nothing to solidify that this is one of the biggest heel turns of all time. And what is the post WrestleMania story? What is the story if Cody just wins and retains at WrestleMania? Oh, we got more Cody as champion. Whoopee! At least Cena getting the win. You have a main storyline to follow post WrestleMania. That is the type of ending to WrestleMania that's gonna make people keep watching. I feel like in retrospect, WrestleMania 39, it created a whole year-long journey for Cody to get back to that spot and win the championship. And that's why people watched in droves in between WrestleMania 39 and WrestleMania 40, and WrestleMania 40 was the most watched WrestleMania. I don't think anybody's going to watch if Cody just wins against John Cena. John Cena turned heel, turned his back on the fans, and then Cody's just going to win. And what's Cena going to do? What, he's going to do Hulk Hogan against The Rock at WrestleMania 18? I'm sorry, I was wrong. That would be so lame. So lame.
I think Cena should win. I've said Cena should win. Cody has feuds. You know, they set up Orton. They can set up McIntyre. Like Cody has stuff to do afterwards. But John Cena, the heel John Cena, who's still going to be around. It's not like he's going to go away. Like he's still around through the end of the year. Are you okay?
My light fell for some reason.
Like a heel John Cena. A heel John Cena is, it feels like there's more money in that, and a chase with whoever the babyface might be, whether it's Cody Rhodes, whether it's CM Punk, whether it's Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, Randy Orton. Like there's 5 babyfaces right there who can chase John Cena for the title.
The next 6 months writes itself. You got Backlash in St. Louis. That's Orton and Cena one more time. You got Money in the Bank possibly in Los Angeles. So you could do a freaking Earth 2 version of Money in the Bank 2011 where Cena could say, "Oh, I'm going home to Hollywood and I'm gonna walk out with the WWE Championship against your hero CM Punk." You could do an Earth 2 of Money in the Bank 2011, and then SummerSlam. You could do Roman Reigns. You could do Cody Rhodes at the end of the year. You could go a whole year of Cena as the champion and wait till the last couple of weeks and Cody wins the title there. The next year writes itself with John Cena as the WWE champion, and you're gonna be blowing that up completely if Cody just retains at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I'm with you. So I guess Cody can win. I'm not saying I say that as it's not on the realm of possibility.
No.
It feels like a mistake though if you go with Cody and to beat Cena.
But I'm all for WrestleMania main events where we don't know for sure who's gonna win. That's the sign of a good feud and a good build, where I feel like this one promo has saved the John Cena Cody Rhodes rivalry and build up heading into WrestleMania.
And now the goal or the objective is, how do you continue this momentum with Cena not appearing on the shows? Because that's what now Cody and WWE have to put together, of how do we continue this momentum with no John Cena?
I think if they probably next week on Raw, you won't have any. Maybe you get a Cody appearance. Maybe Cody can cut a strong promo, and then we do a Cody cuts a strong promo, but you set up something for the go home show. And what I think they should do, if it's not Cena on either one of these Raw episodes, please find some time. We're in Sacramento on the go home show, Monday Night Raw. Give us The Rock. Give us The Rock making his return. All you have to do is make one appearance, Rocky. All you have to do is make one appearance, Dwayne. If it's not Cena on the Go Home Raw, you have to give us The Rock. Or Travis Scott. I'll take Travis Scott.
You know what? If Travis Scott shows up, then I'm all for that. I'll
take Travis Scott as a plan C. We get a Cody Travis Scott exchange.
Yeah.
He just smoking a blunt in his face, blowing smoke.
Cody just smacks the shit out of him. All right, I'm all for that. Cody takes the blunt out of his hands, throws on the ground.
Just stomps on it. Now get
There's no hope with dope. Smacks him right across the face. Goody two shoes ass Cody out here telling people not to smoke weed. I'm for a Travis Scott appearance. I like that idea. Yeah, who cares about The Rock? I'm for Travis Scott showing up. And it's better than Wolverine says Cena tried to fuck on him and Cody was too good. Yes.
Indeed.
All right. Elsewhere on Raw, the main event. Another just DQ finish in the main event. Another non-finish in the main event for the second straight week. It's what? Why? Put this on first. Stop doing this in your main event. It's annoying. Bianca Belair got fed up with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky and decided she was just going to DQ both women. Rhea took that personal and laid out both of them and posed with the title. We're getting to a triple threat match, but I'm not feeling it, SB3. I'm just not. How about you?
I mean, I expected this. I expected a non-finish, but I did not expect a double DQ. That was pretty lame. I think the match was really good. I think Io and Rhea have the type of chemistry where they're incapable of having a bad match. Even with a lame or bad finish, they had the best match on the show last night because they have that type of chemistry with one another. I think that WWE, it felt like they were intending for Rhea to be the heel in this situation, but the European crowds are obviously telling you, and they've been telling you over the last 3 weeks, they view Bianca as the heel. And in how this angle played out, she is the heel. Despite her getting beat up as the referee, she gave us a non-finish to the matchup. So it felt like she was the heel at the end of the day. So I wish that they would have cemented that by probably Bianca laying both women out herself. But you needed to make Rhea look strong since Rhea pretty much got screwed over. She got like basically a 20 count. All of the O2 was yelling and counting 1, 2, 3, 4. We got up to nearly 20 counting that pinfall after she hit the riptide. And then she got to look strong and like a badass at the end. But I understand why some people watching at home were like, oh no, she kind of came off like a Rhea Ripley heel turn. I didn't see that. Neither did London. But I think that you can make the case for Bianca or Rhea being the heel in this situation, because I feel like Rhea has been a very much a whiny baby in the last couple of weeks, while Bianca has been making good points, and I love Bianca's telling the story on social media. I think she's been doing an excellent job at that. Io Sky is definitely the baby face. It feels like Bianca's a tweener at this point, Rhea's a whiny baby at this point, and Io Sky is legitimately the sympathetic baby face.
Rhea's been a heel this whole time to me. You lost. You lost because you got mad that somebody else was cheering for your opponent. And then you tried to insert yourself into the match. And then you stole the contract and you signed the contract. And then you got your title match where you got frustrated and you hit the referee. And then you lost that match technically. She's the heel to me. Problem is the crowd is not treating her like the heel. The crowd continues to give her the biggest reaction of the three. And so, yeah, Bianca almost comes out as the heel because she's the one getting booed. But she's not really the heel. Like she's just Bianca. She was cheering for Io. Rhea got offended. She earned her title match by winning Elimination Chamber. She's dealing with a bunch of stuff with Jade and Naomi, which theoretically should make her a bigger babyface because she had to go through all of that drama. But, you know, she's on basically a separate brand now, and she's still tied to it because Naomi mentions her in promos, but she isn't really commenting on that. Like, Bianca feels more like a tweener-ish with all of this. Io is definitely the babyface, but Rhea is the clear heel to me. Rhea is the one fussing because she lost.
Yeah. And, like I feel like the ending of last night's matchup made Rhea the badass in this situation, but all the build up to this matchup has been Rhea being whiny and complaining that she lost because she couldn't handle Bianca cheering for Io. And remember, we talked about after on the show that we did after that episode of Monday Night Raw. She had that incredible promo that they released on social media, where it took her in a different direction. She took responsibility for what she did. She felt isolated because of everything that she lost, from Dirty Dom to the Judgment Day to the Women's Championship. She fought so hard to get it back, and then she also lost Damian Priest. She thought she made friends along the way, especially ahead of War Games when she teamed up with Io and Bianca. That's why she gave the match to Io in the first place. That's why she wanted to face Bianca at WrestleMania, because that was something that they've been talking about since they were in NXT. And they took all of that and were like, now we're going to ignore all of that. We're not going to replay the interview. We're not going to take Rhea Ripley in that direction. No, she's still going to be this whiny, complaining baby face who got distracted because someone was cheering for her opponent, which made her look like an idiot at the end in that matchup. They saved it with that promo, but not everybody saw that promo. So this is something that you would always hear from people that love to complain about AEW, that they put something on social media that should have been on the show, and this was the case for WWE in this whole program. I think that the missing piece of all of this is that promo and taking Rhea in that direction. Now that they took her in the whiny baby direction, it's kind of made the story a little bit diluted. I heard there's some people that think that this is the best build so far for WrestleMania, and I think it's not that. I don't think it's that. I think the match is going to be fantastic. The match might be the best match on either night 1 or night 2 of WrestleMania, but the build has not been the best in telling the story of each of these characters.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it'll be a great match. I think it had potential to challenge for a main event spot. Obviously, we know that's not happening, but it had potential to make fans be like, oh, maybe this would have been the better call. And it hasn't lived up to that in my mind. Like it's just a little disjointed with who I'm supposed to be against. And I know who to cheer for. I know Io is the babyface in this. Problem is Io is just getting little sistered the entire time. And so I don't like, she doesn't feel like a credible champion right now when she should feel more credible. Just feels like, oh, you lost because Rhea got distracted by Bianca. Oh, you're being pushed aside by both of them. Oh, you would have lost again if Rhea didn't hit Bianca. You got pinned for a 20 count in that match. So she doesn't feel super credible going into this when she should. Oh, Rhea came off like the badass, but it should have just been more heelish. It should have just, I wish, but the crowd cheered so much that's what made her look like a badass. If the crowd boos, then it's like, yeah, Rhea's being a dick. Why is she attacking both competitors? Not her fault. She hit Bianca, and then Bianca got fed up and then decided to disqualify both ladies. But she reacted in a way of like just getting pissed and throwing a fit again. But she got cheered for it.
Yeah. Because I will say, even when Bianca came out, she got very much of a mixed reaction from the fans. There was a lot of cheers. I think it was more cheers than boos, but there was a very loud portion of the fans, a lot of minority of the fans that were booing Bianca. And I know a bunch of people are going to say, well, it's Europe, and we've seen throughout this European tour they haven't liked Bianca the most. But I also think that that's in line with what WWE is also presenting to all of this. Like, I think that Bianca trying to play this kind of still goody two shoes type of babyface character has not been beneficial for her throughout the build. And I think that even when we go back to the States, there might be some people in the crowd that boo her there as well.
We'll see what the reaction is when they get back stateside this weekend. I'd say it's technically, I assume they're not going to be on SmackDown, so technically next week in Minnesota. Minnesota's like, they're going to cheer for Rhea because she's white. It's just, Minnesota's just nothing but bland white people. Rhea's not bland, but Minnesota just loves just generic white people. That's the Love Is Blind reference. I hope.
Yeah, they love the white Wonder Bread. That's what they love out in Minnesota. And yes, LAB, I was singing Io Sky, Io Sky. Yes, I was a part of the Io. I was loudly, even our section of the show, there was people that were like, Rhea Ripley. I'm like, Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Io Sky. And then I won, and I was like, I won, we won. I always love doing that. When we go through the dueling chants, if I'm the last one to say it loudly, I'd be like, "We won!" Yes, that crowd is a great experience. It's a great experience to be in the O2. Like I got asked by Kate over the weekend, like, how was SmackDown? And I know Kate reviews SmackDown, and she was like, it was 60% entrances and singing. And I was like, yeah, it was, but it was a fun experience live. I was like, if I was watching it at home, I would have so much more critiques for that show, because literally, I've been saying for the last couple of days, the SmackDown show, it was fun being there for the opening segment because you have Randy Orton. They're singing the Randy Orton song, and I'm singing it too. And we're singing Cody Rhodes song, and we're singing Cody Rhodes, Cody Rhodes, and all that. And then Drew McIntyre comes out, and they're Drew McIntyre, and they're singing for Drew McIntyre as well. And then the closing segment with Roman, and I'm just yelling at any random time there was silence. I would just yell out, "I love you, my tribal chief," and had everybody in my section laughing. And then Seth Rollins comes out, and I got to make my video of me hating people singing the Seth Rollins song. I hate that shit. I hate it. I'm like, Seth is obviously the heel. Why are we still singing his stupid song? This stupid, idiotic, stupid song. CM Punk, I understand. The London crowd loves CM Punk. He was in the dark match against Ludwig Kaiser, and they huge pop. One of the biggest pops of the night for him, even for the dark match. So I understand why they love CM Punk, and I love singing Cult of Personality. So I was here for that. But I thought that was a good segment as far as like the contract signing and the emotion from Punk becoming a WrestleMania main eventer. But like literally, that's it. That's all I will remember a week from now from that SmackDown show that I went to. At least, like, I think that the best WWE shows nowadays has 3 important things on it. You know, we talked about the John Cena and Cody Rhodes opening. We talked about the close with Io Sky and Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. There was issues there, but the match was good, and it's going to set up what we've been knowing for like the last 6-7 weeks, that it's going to be a triple threat match. It feels like they're just dragging this out as long as possible. I really was like, I was looking at the entrance way at the end of the night. I was like, I think it would have been much better if Adam Pearce came out and said that it was going to be a triple threat. Like, we're going to have to wait till next week to find out that it's a triple threat. Like, we all know this by now. WWE just announced the damn matchup.
I thought they were going to do it at the end of the show as well. Like, Pearce is going to come out and say something about it, but then he didn't. And they've been announcing some stuff on like social media. Like when they announced the Reigns, Rollins, and Punk triple threat, that was on social media after the sign pointing segment. And you know, a lot of people watch that mid-afternoon because that's when it aired live. But for those that watch the USA feed, like, it got announced at like 11:30 after the show went off the air. I thought maybe they would do that, but they're holding off once again. I assume it's just Rhea's going to complain, and Io and Bianca are going to be like, just put her in the damn match. You know what? Let's shut her up. Put her in the damn match.
Or they're going to announce it on social media like they did Roman, Punk, and Seth, like they did the day following. They'll probably announce it today, maybe sometime. And then the third thing that I thought was great from this show, which made it overall a great episode of Monday Night Raw, was the Gunther and Jay and Jimmy angle. That was old school heel work at its best.
So, real quickly on the announcement thing. Yeah, they announced the Roman triple threat again, like half an hour after SmackDown went off the air, after they did the pull apart brawl with the sign pointing. So like that kind of made sense. It would make no sense to just announce this as a triple threat match on social media at this point. Like, you kind of missed your window if you weren't going to do it yesterday.
True.
Or like after the show. Like, now it should be, all right, let's do a segment and let's get there through that segment. Hopefully they do that and they don't just randomly announce it this weekend. Like, after careful consideration, Adam Pearce has announced this. Like, why? Jay and Gunther segment where Jimmy Uso got nearly murdered. I love this. Big fan of murder in my wrestling, and Jimmy looked like a crime scene victim in this whole thing, and Gunther had no problem letting you know he was the killer with this. Jay can't break zip ties though.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you gotta take you gotta have the suspension of disbelief a little bit that Jay can't break the zip ties. But man,
Also,
I thought Gunther was great throughout the matchup and the post match here.
also, Jay can't break zip ties. Cody didn't want to get his suit bloody. What's up? What's up, Cody? That's your friend out there. He's zip tied to the ropes. His brother's getting his ass beat. You can't do anything. We know you're
True.
there. At least Sami
True.
Zayn, he's not there. I'll give Sami a pass. He hasn't been around.
Roman's not there.
Roman's not there. They get passes. They haven't been showing up to Raw. We know Cody was in the building.
CM Punk was in the building as well. We got to call him out too.
All right, but he wasn't on the show. So suspension of disbelief is CM Punk wasn't there for the television audience. I know he did the live match and everything. So, I'll give Punk a little bit of a pass, even though, he was in the building. Not fair.
He was in the building. He was there.
Fair. Cody, though, what's up? Thought Jimmy J was your guy? I don't know.
No. Can't deal with big Gunther out here in these streets. I thought he was good in the matchup. The matchup was pretty much Jimmy getting a little bit of offense early on, and then Gunther just battering him, power bomb, lift him up, big ass clothesline, lift him up, and then choked him out. Then he tried to choke him out again in the post match. Jay comes out, gets the better of him. Got a nice little guest appearance by Rio. Shout outs to her. I knew immediately when I saw the back of her head and I saw those purple braids. I was like, that's definitely Rio, right? I was like, I don't know any WWE medical staff who got those type of braids. But yeah, and then they help him out, and then I was right at the section, like right here below the section was where Gunther ran off from Jay. So our section were the first to see that Gunther was coming back. So we were like, oh no, he's coming back. He's coming back. So he comes back around and tags Jay and Jimmy from behind. It was cool live, but I think that this was more of a TV angle where this was for the TV, because when I watched it back, I watched back the YouTube version of the angle. It was much better because you got to see, the blood more up close and personal. Being on, if you're watching it on TV, you got to hear what Jay and Gunther were saying to each other during the angle as well. And this is a part of wrestling that has been missing for a very long time when it comes to WWE. Blood adds a lot to an angle like this. Like if it was a Vince McMahon era beatdown, it just would have been a beatdown, him choking him out in front of him. But the blood, like you said, he looked like a murder victim. Gunther looked like an absolute like beast and killer at the end of it, with the blood being wiped on him choking him out as he's talking trash to Jay. Jay's desperation trying to reach for Jimmy just in his absolute unconsciousness at this point. Like, this was so well done. The best angle that they've done in this entire rivalry. And guess what? It had zero to do with Jey Uso, bad wrestler. So great. Thank you. Move the hell on from that part of the story.
Blood does add a lot to the angle. I mean, what was the most memorable thing from last year's WrestleMania build-up? The Rock beating Cody's ass in the rain and busting him open. Like that's the scene people still remember. Yes, it does add a lot. I'm glad they maybe the part of the bad wrestler for Jay was he can't bust out of zip ties. It's like this goes to show how bad his wrestling is. He can't get out of zip ties.
He's so in his head he can't break out his zip ties.
I did think of Jay. I thought of a lot of people. But during Cena's promo, when he's like, you are just a theme song and a catchphrase that these people repeat. I'm like, Jey Uso sitting back there like, what did he say fuck me for?
Like, fuck me. He's like, fuck me for? What'd I do, John? I just eliminated you from the Royal Rumble. I will say, those London fans were so upset they couldn't eat. They were so upset, bro. Well, they wanted to eat so bad.
Sorry for him. right. Jay got his ass kicked. Did they do no yeeting in London? Was he not part of the Friday show at all?
No, he wasn't. They don't
They
do
killed
dark
the
matches
town.
for. They don't do dark matches for SmackDown anymore
Oh,
because
it's
they have
3 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, they have a hard out at 11. Like even I dropped my bag off both nights at the bag pickup outside, and they closed their booth like an hour after the show. So if everybody's coming out at the same time, like that, that wouldn't have worked. So yeah,
they killed the town by doing no yeeting.
No yeeting in London. Your London got no yeet? That's ridiculous. I was expecting a yeet. Come on. Let Jimmy come out to the old Uso song so we could have yeeted. I wanted a yeet too. I've never yeeted in person.
Got to go to WrestleMania.
No, I'm good.
Also on Raw, Tyler Bate returned. I guess Pete Dunne is a babyface now because Tyler Bate is back and they're reunited. We got reminded of their god-awful theme song, and then New Day at least thankfully won and hopefully is setting up winning the titles at WrestleMania, which is very overdue after their great segment with Big E and the failure to capitalize on that.
That feels years ago now.
It does. It really does. Like it's barely like referenced. Like the momentum they had after that just went nowhere. It's a shame.
There's too many cases of Triple H not capitalizing on big angles like that. Like the New Day, Chad Gable when he got really over as a heel last summer, he didn't capitalize on that. Yeah, it just is like the New Day one is the one that pisses me off the most because they were getting nuclear heat following that turn on Big E. And it's really like I had when I did my biggest heel turns article for Sports Illustrated, and I think it was Romeo. Romeo was like gave me his top 10 and he put the New Day in it. I was like, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. They never capitalize on it. Like it's cool in the moment, but if they never capitalize on it, then it loses the value. You lose the value of it. And that goes back to what we originally said earlier with the whole John Cena and Cody Rhodes. This is why John Cena has to win at WrestleMania, because you're not solidifying the heel turn if you don't have the proper follow-up for it.
Yeah, I'm with you. Anything else from Raw stand out?
That was really most of the good stuff on Monday Night Raw. We will get El Grande Americano back next week in Minnesota. He makes his return. We got New Day getting the win. They had their little face-off with the Viking Raiders. Karrion Kross, he does in fact wrestle, Jeremy. I had to be live there. He was wrestling on WWE Main Event. I literally had to send the picture to Romeo. I was like, I didn't even know he wrestled anymore. I was so surprised. I got this, so many people in the crowd were asking me. He was like, who is this? Like when the music started, people didn't even know his music anymore.
No one knows any of this music. No one knows it. I don't know what his music is.
You could have heard a pin drop in the building when Judgment Day came out to that awful new music.
Yeah, I don't even know what they have. I don't recognize like 90% of WWE music at this point. Cena, Cody, Punk. Sometimes Romans will throw me off. Like, this is Bailey coming out here.
Yeah, I don't like the second version. I like the original Head of the Table theme music. This one that was just supposed to be a one-off at WrestleMania 40, and he's continued to use it since he came back. I always be like, I want him to go back to the old one. Why can't he go back or go back to Roman, the big dog, Roman. He's so strong. I would go. I wanted him to go back to that because then I can sing the song in the crowd when I'm not there. That's what I want him to go back to. But I would prefer the Head of the Table one over this one. Of course, the Seth Rollins theme song, which everyone seemed to love on Friday.
At least it's recognizable. Like I know you don't.
It is recognizable.
Like at least it's a recognizable theme, because these other songs, like they gotta say they do that dumb intro. New Catch Republic. We want the smoke. It's a new day. Like they got to do all of that to let you know who's coming out. But then the song is so generic that it's like, okay, but this music still sucks. Like you kill it with that intro, and then you go into a terrible song. You know, at least Cody has an intro, but then it goes into like a good and memorable song. So it's fine. True. People just forget about it.
Penta's theme is good. It's a good. It's not the best, but it's good.
If you played Penta's theme right now, I could not tell you it was Penta's theme. Sure, maybe it is.
It's fine. It's fine compared to everything else. Yeah, it's not a good time to have WWE theme music. Drew McIntyre is recognizable. Randy Orton is recognizable. Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. These are guys who have recognizable theme songs. It's literally the top stars. Jey Uso, Gunther, like these guys have recognizable theme songs. But Lyra Valkyria got the dun 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 whoa dun 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 whoa. I love her theme song. You already know. We got a short about it.
Most of them just aren't good. They're just not good.
Yeah. And it kills their pop. It kills any type of reaction they will get.
They don't get a pop,
especially in their live. Yeah, they don't get any type of pop at all. But the Judgment Day did win last night. It seems like Finn Balor wants another shot at the Intercontinental Championship, but it also seems like Liv Morgan steering that pot, and it looks like she's gonna try to get Dirty Dom a title shot. So that's probably how we get our 4-way. Penta took the pinfall, which surprised me. I was surprised they didn't just have Finn get a win over Braun Breaker to kind of set him up as a number one contender. I thought that would be better to set him up as a number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship, but Penta took the fall instead, thanks in large part to Braun Breaker missing a spear on Finn and hitting Penta instead. So we got that. And then we got Women's Intercontinental Championship matchup next week with Lyra and Bayley, which I think Liv and Raquel are going to get involved in that.
You think so?
Yeah, because they have to have something at WrestleMania.
Maybe. What happened to Roxanne Perez? Where's that going?
I think they're waiting for the WWE draft, to be honest with you. She's busy just watching Roxanne's boyfriend on LFG.
It feels like they took Bayley and were like, hey, Becky doesn't want to return before WrestleMania. You want to do this program with Lyra? Yeah, Jay Gross says the same thing. Like, you want to do this program with Lyra? Because otherwise we got nothing. But they should just insert Roxanne into this. Just do a triple threat match at WrestleMania.
There's so many people on the that's probably going to be on the WrestleMania card where it feels like, oh, we had nothing better for them. Like Logan Paul and AJ Styles, there's no substance to this damn feud. I didn't hear anything Logan Paul said on last night's show because I was in the crowd and I was too busy booing him and saying that Prime is shit. So I didn't hear it. None of us in the O2 heard what Logan Paul had to say.
He actually, Logan Paul sucks, but he had a really good line of like, look at this dude in the front row. You spent your life savings on tickets and now you're broke. I'm like, yeah, that's probably true. That sounds about right.
We chanted water at him. Oh my god, it was so good. It was so awesome being a part of a genuine. This was a genuine crowd that hated Logan Paul. Like, it wasn't like being a part of like a one of those WWE crowds like a year ago that would just boo Dom because it was the thing to do because it was the gimmick. No, this felt like people really don't like Logan Paul.
Yeah. There isn't much with this AJ Styles Logan Paul match, honestly. Like, it's just they're doing it because it's a cool match on paper, and it'll probably be good. As Jay Girls mentioned, like it's probably gonna be a top 2 AJ match. Yeah, his best match is Shane McMahon.
Shane O'Mac.
Yeah, it's still his best WrestleMania match, so it probably will be a good WrestleMania match. But there isn't a whole lot of like people want to see AJ and Braun Breaker, especially after he caught the shirt. Like, oh shit, give me that match. What do I see AJ and Logan Paul for? Yeah. And then the MSG stuff killed it for me. It's like y'all misplayed this completely right here. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? But yeah, that's happened at WrestleMania. It'll be good. All right. Anything else from Raw?
No, I think we covered everything from the Monday night show. I'll be breaking it down further on Rated Raw Review, which I'm sure Romeo's gonna wax lyrically, be like, "I was right. Jay and Gunther is back. Yeah, he died on a hill last week. Freaking, oh my god, it was so great because we had Top Guy JJ on, and he set him up beautifully. He was like, when was the last time they did a storyline about somebody being a bad wrestler? And Romeo thought for like a second. He's like, oh, Maxine Dupree. And we both just died laughing. It's like, we're booking a WrestleMania main eventer like Maxine Dupree.
That's your women's tag team title match, by the way. Maxine and Natalya.
Man. I saw that segment.
Raquel.
It's probably gonna be a multi. It'll be Bailey and Lyra, Maxine and Natalya, maybe the Secret Service versus Judgment Day, 4-way.
Wow, KC squared erasure here.
Dude, no one cared when they came out. Yo, that was another one. Oh my god,
that was another one.
I felt bad for them. No one cared. No one cared, dude.
Yeah, I felt bad for them. They came out like I didn't recognize. Again, more music that I just did not recognize. Like, who the hell is coming out here? Then I saw them. Like, okay, they've been on television. They had the one backstage segment where they got moved to SmackDown. They haven't wrestled on television in all year, literally all year. It's like, and you expect people to care about them? Like, no. No one could possibly care.
No one cared. Oh my god. There was like I said, the middle portion of SmackDown was just like, oh my god, this is like nothing. Like, it was Street Profits and Pretty Deadly was decent, but nothing outside of that was a good matchup that I'm gonna remember in like a week. Miz doing a horrible Rainmaker, Jimmy doing a horrible splash, Charlotte and Michin. Then one of the other good parts on the SmackDown show, the Naomi promo, I had to go back and watch it because the audio sucked in the O2 for that video package, so I didn't even really get to hear what she was saying. So,
the Naomi video package was fantastic.
Yeah, I watched it back. It was great, but I'm saying, like, in the building, the audio for the backstage segments are sometimes really bad.
Gotcha. Did you hear Tiffany's promo?
Yeah, I did hear that.
Okay. I actually thought her promo was good.
It was very well scripted.
Well, yeah. But like, it was good in that, like, yeah, if you lose to this person, this is who you're losing to. Like, that's the kind of the proper response to all of that. It's the old Bret Hart adage of don't tell people like your opponent sucks and they can't wrestle and they've never accomplished anything, because if you lose to that person, you have now lost to someone who sucks and can't wrestle and has accomplished nothing. So how does that make you look? So Tiffany had a good response to that, but it's all going to lead to her losing. So
I can't be asked to care anymore about that rivalry.
Nah, they got to do another face to face with them. I need it. I need everybody to hashtag bow down. The queen just stepping on people. Rules.
Couldn't be asked to care. Naomi and Jade Cargill are lapping them in the regards of intrigue going into WrestleMania. Hopefully they make that official on Friday Night SmackDown this week. And no, what is that? Zeno hour. I did not lead the booing of Bianca Belair. I actually stood up. I was like Alex McCarthy. Anytime Charlotte got booed on SmackDown, he would stand up and be like, "Why are you booing her?" Because he's a Charlotte Flair mark. And I was like that on Monday. Like, why are you booing Bianca? Is it because of the color of her skin and not the content of her character? I had someone bust out laughing when I said that.
Does Alex McCarthy, he's stand for Charlotte Flair?
The two people that he always talks to is Charlotte Flair and Drew McIntyre. Those are the two people that
I
are
know
like basically his friends at this point.
Yeah, I know McIntyre. That's the obvious one. Like I make fun of him for that. I didn't know he stand for Charlotte so hard. Oh, we got that in common. Oh man, that's upsetting.
Yeah, he interviewed her on Friday, and apparently she knew him, and she was like, "Hey."
He's a fine lad. He's a coward, but he's a good lad. NXT is tonight. They got two things announced. Ricky Saints going for the NXT North American Championship in a match that I'm sure won't end in a DQ. And Obafemi is going to be called out by Trick Williams in a segment that I'm sure won't end with Dark State bringing down the house lights. That's it. The women are not on this show as of yet. So the best thing about NXT has nothing announced. So we'll see what happens.
Can we just have Ricky Saints win this North American title, please?
I mean, I agree. You should just go ahead, get it done, get the victory. You don't need to go any further with this because Sean Spears ain't exactly lighting the world on fire. Why delay it? Just go ahead and put the title on Ricky. If you want to do a rematch at Stand and Deliver, fine. But I would not.
No, probably. It seemed like they were setting up like a 4-way for the North American title with Ricky, Wesley, Ethan Page, and Sean Spears.
Possible. Yeah, that's possible. Where does Javon Evans fit in this?
Javon is in the 3-way. I think he's going to be in.
You think it's going to be a 3-way
with Oba and Trick? Yeah. I don't think NXT trusts Oba and Trick to have a singles match at this point. If they do make this a triple threat, it's like, oh, you guys really don't trust Oba and Trick to have a good singles main event matchup then.
Yeah, maybe. I figured it was just gonna be a one-on-one. Like that's what it should be. But
oh yeah, you're probably right, Zeno Hour. They'll probably put Tony D'Angelo in that North American title match too. So it'll probably be a 5-way. But he still do his rematch. He still needs his rematch. He negotiates well.
Yeah, true. I don't know about that. Yeah, we should be getting some Stand and Deliver matches announced because we got nothing right now.
Yeah. They'll probably announce Stephanie and Jordan tonight.
They're going to announce it. They need to announce a time for this damn event because it keeps changing.
Did they change it from 9:30 Pacific?
Oh, that's what it is now, but it was like 11:30 Pacific, and then it bumped up to 9:30. So, yeah, they keep changing it.
Yeah.
We shall see.
I feel bad for the talent. I hear the talent is dreading it with that early call time.
Yeah, well, I mean, they should. Because, yeah,
I'm dreading it because I'm gonna have to think about doing True Hill Heat at 9 a.m. on that day now.
It's 9:30. It's 12:30 for me. That's fine. Okay. I'm dreading the late night stuff. That's the stuff where, it's only 11 o'clock over there, but it's 2 o'clock here. Like, oh, that sucks.
And it's 7 a.m. for me.
Yeah, that's the stuff that sucks. But it's Mania week. I don't sleep Mania week anyway. I'll figure it all out. Can we get Stephanie Becker into the Trick Javon and Oba match?
No, we need to figure out who got the best dreads in NXT. That's what this feud is all about, guys. It's 3 black brothers with dreads. We can't mess this up. Don't be racist. Don't put no. I love Stephanie Vicaire, but she got stuff to handle with Jordan Grace.
All right, so that's NXT tonight. Again, 2 things announced, so we'll see how the show goes. I don't think there's any major news. Any news that I'm missing here?
I'm trying to see.
Tetsuya Naito is apparently working as a freelancer because his contract expired on January 31st, and they are going into their 4th round of negotiations, according to Tokyo Sports. This came
now,
out.
do we believe Naito? Because it's April Fool's.
So this came out on April 1st in Japan, and everybody was quick to be like, oh, it's an April Fool's Day thing. I don't know if it's an April Fool's Day thing. I think the timing matches up well. I just think it's Naito being Naito. He would do this on April 1st, March 1st, June 1st, July 1st, October 1st. Like, it doesn't matter to Naito. He would say this at any point.
Legit saw that Sports Illustrated on our team. I saw somebody put like in the claim stories that was like Naito contract status, and I didn't even be like, I was like, I just shook my head. I was like, I'm not even gonna say anything because he already wrote the article. I was like, I'm not even gonna say anything. You don't know Naito.
Same. That's how like people were putting it in our chat. And then Luis, shout out to Luis. He's like, I'm pretty sure it's an April Fool's Day thing. Like, that's what people are saying. And I'm like, I don't think it's April Fool's. I think Naito's just being Naito. Like, I don't think it has anything to do with April 1st. The timing just happens to work like that. But Naito would do this at any point during the year. Just like, oh yeah, freelancer, contract expired, 4th round of negotiations. Anyway, the defending the title, it's Current Genesis, still 1/2 of the champions. I've never left this company in like 15 years, but I'm definitely about to go somewhere else now, guys.
With no knees, to his name, he's gonna be a big money deal. And I agree with you. He would have done this on any day, but it's hilarious he's doing it before he has a tag team title match against Jeff Cobb, who just had the report about him leaving. So now he's making it more unpredictable for people in Japan that believe this story. Who's gonna win on Saturday?
Naito, for those that don't know, Naito is the dude who like goes out to dinner with reporters and everything and like orders a bunch of shit and whatnot and then leaves and sticks them all with the bill and like thinks it's funny. Like, that's Naito. Yeah,
he is legit the biggest troll in pro wrestling.
Yeah,
he's literally like, he's the same dude who faced Tori Yano, who's known for being a troll himself, and he did his entrance 3 times. He walked all the way to the ring, and then his music stopped. So he decided to go all the way backstage again, have the music restart, and came out again.
He's a full-on troll. It rules. So I don't buy this reports. I buy that like maybe he's negotiating a new contract. I don't think that he is actually a freelancer and without a contract right now. I think they have an agreement and he's going to be there for, and like the moment the clock strikes April 2nd in Japan, like, anyway, Naito signed a new deal and he's back, everybody.
That'd be perfect. That would be perfect.
Or like right after they defend the titles at Genesis, backstage comments. He's like, I signed the new deal. Gonna be in Japan. Gonna be in New Japan for the foreseeable future. It's like, oh, of course. Yeah, he might not be the elite. He might not be the elite in-ring performer he once was, but he's still a legendary worker outside the ring. Very true. Very true. He should come over to America and just get the Okada run in AEW, just doing some bullshit, except don't even have like the matches. Don't even do that portion. At least Okada will go out there and he'll have like good matches against the right opponents. Naito doesn't even do that. He's just like, what bullshit can I do this week? And that's all.
It would just be like a year-long storyline of who's the biggest troll between him and Orange Cassidy.
Oh, that'd be so good. A 1-year build with Naito and Orange Cassidy just like doing lazy worker shit culminating it all in 2026. Oh, that would be amazing.
And you know those London fans in Wembley Stadium will mark the fuck out for everything they do.
Yeah.
Hands in the pockets. Naito does his run on the ropes and pose. This is awesome.
They get the Tony gets the rights to My Way, and the video is just them just looking at each other though. That's the whole video.
It's Naito like this. It's Naito
it's just different poses. Naito's going, tranquillo. Yep, all that. Orange Cassidy, hands in pockets, sunglasses. That's it. There's no physical confrontation because they never touched for the entire year that this built up. Oh, that would rule.
Oh, that's awesome.
So much.
Book it. Please listen to us, Tony. Please.
That's amazing. All right, we can't top that, everybody. So we're gonna get on out of here. Ryan Adams sends a super chat. Happy 45th birthday to Randy Orton. Happy birthday to Randy Orton. Friday show, we will be doing super chats. We'll be going to Cole Radrick's GoFundMe. Best wishes to our pal Cole. I will see if he can join us on Friday. Again, he's scheduled for surgery on Thursday, so not positive he's going to be able to join us, but hopefully we can get him. And yeah, Friday's show, all super chats will be going to his GoFundMe to help out our pal Cole Radrick. SP3, let them know where they can find you at.
You can find me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. I put the post up as we were doing this live. Just dropped a new interview with a good friend of In Louise, good friend of True Hill Heat, and everyone in between. Vinny Pacifico for Sports Illustrated .si.com. Me and Vinny talked about his AEW Dynamite appearance, losing a tooth to Katsuyori Shibata, and his venture into TV and movies. Great conversation. The video interview will probably be dropping later this week as well. So go over and check that out over there. And of course, I'll be live on the True Hill Heat YouTube channel in less than an hour with Romeo, Top Guy JJ, to talk about last night's Monday Night Raw in more in-depth conversation over there. So come over and check us out there. And I'll be back on In Louise one of these days, or I'm going to figure it out with Joel. Joel asked me to see what I could do with my schedule. I'm gonna figure it out, but Thursday, Friday, one of these days, I'll be here.
Yeah, Joel's running from the grind as usual, but he's gonna probably switch days. I think the tentative plan, and maybe I'm completely wrong, but it'll probably be Joel Wednesday and Thursday and SP3 on Friday. I think that's the plan, assuming that's what you got.
I'll see what my schedule can work out. I tell this guy all the time, you gotta let me know like a week in advance. I make my own schedule, but I can't like then switch it up. But it is what it is. I love Joel, so I'll ask.
Breaking news from the NBA before we get out of here. NBA discipline for Pistons Timberwolves scuffle. Isaiah Stewart 2 games.
I saw that this morning.
DiVincenzo 1 game, Ron Holland 1 game, Naz Reid 1 game, Marcus Sasser 1 game. This is related to the Thunder because the Pistons play the Thunder tomorrow. So I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of happy Isaiah Stewart is suspended for a game because I don't need this dude just trying to injure any of our guys at this point in the season. I don't want no smoke with Isaiah Stewart. Every clip I see of this guy, he's trying to fight somebody. And I don't actually watch him like play basketball. So I'm glad he's not going to be out there to potentially get into an argument and fight with one of our players.
He's trying to get that bad boy moniker back for the Pistons.
I like it. Look, I'm all for it. I like that he stands up for his teammates. Ron Holland kind of the same way. I like that they're doing this. I don't want to see it against my team. So
I just didn't like the fight going into the stands. I get PTSD from the Malice at the Palace.
Yeah.
Especially when there's Piston jerseys on the court. Like, yeah.
I agree with that. Oh, there you go. That's also wrestling related because sure, fights in the NBA as well.
DiVincenzo was about to put on like a cravat on Holland. After Holland basically was trying to just push him aside.
Stewart,
because Naz Reid got in his face.
Stewart had them in a chokehold. He was going right at the throat.
You saw the scratch on his neck?
Yeah. I'm glad we don't have to worry about Isaiah Stewart. Not for basketball reasons. Like, he's a fine basketball player. He's not. I don't even think he's bad. Like a solid big man who can rim protect well. But I just worry about my team's health against him. I'm very sad that the Sixers have fully embraced the tank, because there was a chance that OKC got their pick, but it's like top 6 protected, and they're trying to guarantee that it's in that top 6. So it's it sucks.
They're tanking for flag. They're trying to grab the flag here, but we'll see. We'll see if that works out for them. But yeah, Pistons have been one of the best stories of the NBA this season. So the reason I made the face when you said the suspension, I was like, I thought JD Bickerstaff was going to get suspended too, because the coaches were about to fight too.
Yeah. All right, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. Myself and Joel Pearl, 10 a.m. Eastern. Catch y'all then. Bye, everybody.